in other new title news, a movie that I keep trying to willfully forget is coming, but it is coming. The Blade Runner sequel is now titled Blade Runner 2049. If you forgot, which I did, the original Blade Runner movie is set in 2019, which is only a few years from now. So this is 30 years later, confirming that this movie obviously brings back Harrison Ford, but also has Ryan Gosling starring in it, Robin Wright, a really great cast. But man, I mean...
And a good director.
A good director, but... Blade Runner is one of those films now that is taught in film schools as like, these are all the notes you need to hit. This is a great example of sci-fi sort of at its best. The performances are great. The questions it raises are great. That to me, obviously we've come and returned to a lot of franchises over the years, but this one just, I'm still like, I don't know.
Look, Blade Runner is my all-time favorite movie.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I actually... Unrelated, I actually got married probably about 1,500 feet from where Bryant's office was at Union Station, downtown LA. I love the movie. I like the book. The script is, I mean, Hampton Fancher, David Webb Peoples. David Webb Peoples also wrote Unforgiven, which is also one of my top 5 favorite films. It's such a strong story, and you have all these different themes, and they've tried making sequels in the book form, which. Save your money. It's just one of those movies. It's been a really long time, and I think making sequels, not even a reboot, but making sequels to movies 10, 15, 20, 30 years later after they come out never seems like a good idea to me. You either start fresh or do something else, but
and I think
I'm worried, even though it's a quality cast.
Yeah, I think the movie itself, like the effort being put in is fine, but I am more just bristle and feel uncomfortable with the idea of this movie in particular having its story continue, because there is something to be said for a story ending and just being left where it is. To me, one of the things that it remains so compelling about Blade Runner are those sort of like echoing unanswered questions that you're left to think about yourself. One of them is like, is Deckard an android or not, right? Like,
which the funny
Ridley
thing
Scott has said.
Well, that's the funny thing is that that's one movie where the director and the actor were not on the same page.
Right.
The director, the actor, and the person that wrote the book all have competing visions of Rick Deckard. Harrison Ford was like, hey, he was a human to me. And I played him as if he was a human. And Ridley was like, no, he's a replicant. And that's why I made the other part of the reason why I made the director's cut in my version, where we put the extra reflection in the eyes,
right,
so you could see all of that. And they were not on the same page. They were not on the, I mean, there was a really, there's a book called Future Noir. If you're into Blade Runner, read the book. It tells you all about the production. That was a lot of headbutting. There was a strike. It's a very rocky production.
Ridley Scott is a director too who likes to go back to his original films and retinker and release different cuts. Whenever I watch Blade Runner, I just watch the original one. That was the first one I saw.
With the voiceover?
No.
The director's cut.
The director's cut. Yes, I'm sorry. The one that the widely popular Blu-ray or DVD that you can find most places. I apologize.
Luckily, the voiceover one is harder and harder to find.
I have seen the voiceover one though, and it's really
it's jarring
bizarre
to watch now.
Yeah, but that's sort of the heavy-handed sort of storytelling that they were concerned they needed. But again, like the director's cut, thank you for correcting me, has this sort of aura around it that you're supposed to question things and wonder, and this sequel to me just feels like it's going to detract a lot from that. It's probably going to go with the conclusion that Deckard is a replicant. What does that mean? How do we explore it? Also, like, you wonder after you watch Blade Runner what comes next in this world, but that wasn't a question I ever wanted actually answered concretely. Like, I just wanted to imagine it myself. There's a lot of I here. This is clearly my opinion on it, but I'm curious what you guys think about if you're excited for a Blade Runner sequel, if you're intrigued by the idea of Blade Runner 2049, or if you're sort of in the same boat as Ahmad and myself, where the idea of a sequel to this, no matter how quality it may be, just makes us feel a little
uneasy.
Yeah,
but
a little uneasy.
I'm willing to have my mind changed on this one.